Nice. Okay, let's see how it goes. Actually, the rhythm threw me off for me. I had another song in my head. I was like, fuck, can I remember it? Because when you change the lyrics, it's hard to remember. Anyway, all right.
Old people problems.
Every Tuesday night or Thursday when I think about it all is when we all come shining through. To see those people in my mind when we joke about some time, and I want to spend some time with you on the Ramblecast. We can make it if we try on the Ramblecast. On the Ramblecast. Two of us are probably high on the Ramblecast. You and
I gotta say,
that might have been your best one yet.
That was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That was very good.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. It took me a second to figure out what song you were singing, but then I go, okay, I got it.
When you get Bill Withers, when you get Bill Withers in your head, I was already like going, for once in my life. I was like, oh shit, that's not the song. And then I started going, Lovely Day. I was like, boom, 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 boom,
that's my alarm clock.
Lovely day. Yeah, and I was just like, and I was like, oh sure. And then luckily it popped back in my head like what the melody was.
Well, that was in a movie, right, or a cartoon or something? Because I remember when the part where because when it comes to you and I, it's like a.
It is an Austin
lizard
Powers.
Or something. Is it Austin Powers? Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, nice.
Because the whole time I'm thinking, okay, that was in a movie. It was in a movie or a cartoon.
It was in The Spy Who Shagged Me. I know because like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me sang it.
Yeah.
And then
that's right.
It's been in some other stuff. I mean, it's a
it must be
song.
because it's like a cart where they turned to like a. I don't know what it is.
Well, didn't Will Smith do a remix of it as well?
He did. Yeah.
He slapped that one off. It was pretty good. Let's stop the podcast. Someone check back ears. Anyway.
Our names aren't on. Oh, there they are. Okay. I didn't realize they disappeared when you showed something.
Oh, well. Yeah, that was an interesting thing, but that's okay. I guess if you're losing, you can't hit the whole series. Let's get the guy with the red ears. I don't know if I could be an umpire. Be like, you want me to do what? I'm not touching.
It was weird.
I'm not touching his ears. And there's been videos out there of that guy that does all those big, was it Jumbo Media, whatever he is. He did a breakdown of it, and he showed the whole inning. He goes, he never went to his ears ever. It just he just sweats like crazy. I mean, he had a stretch. He started out 8-0, got COVID. We're talking about Joe Musgrove. He got COVID, and he was like terrible for a while. He just couldn't get anybody out. He was worn down, and his ears were still like that. But people don't want to accept it. I mean, you got people, broadcast, people in MLB Network calling him a cheater when there's no proof. I said that's bullshit. If you have proof, call him a cheater, but you don't have any proof.
Right?
How can you keep labeling him as a cheater when you have no proof? I thought it was bullshit. But
it's kind of like that chess player.
Oh, chess player.
Did you hear about it? It's like about a week and a half ago. It was some like really high ranked chess player who was accused of cheating at a chess match, and this is the funny part: is like how he was cheating. And I'm not sure what happened about it, like what's come of it, but they're accusing him of putting a remote electric Benoit ball in his ass, and then someone with a remote, like giving him pulses on it, telling him what to do.
Huh?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like Morse code in the butthole? As to what part? What?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start playing chess and start cheating because it sounds like it'd be a good time.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
I agree, Chris. But yeah, but I wouldn't even.
Do you have
think
any?
about
Hold
doing
on, hold on. Think about that for 1 second. Think about like a chess match. So let's say this is true. You're sticking this thing up your butt.
Woo!
And do you have any idea in the span of one chess match, how many
Right.
actual individual buzzes there would have had to have
Right.
been? Because
Right.
you have to like. I'm thinking in my head like how like do B4? What do they do like?
Right.
But you have to do that every single turn. That guy's butthole must be falling out. Like how is that even a fucking thing? That's incredible. I can't wrap my head around someone doing that to their butt.
Well,
that's
is
crazy.
he?
Whoa, does Jack have Jack?
Jack froze. I thought it was me. I was already like,
Holy
damn it, I've
shit.
frozen. It's like Jack
It's
froze.
Jackernet. I think Jack just got buzzed. But seriously, that is wild. That's actually a thing. I can't even.
Like I said, I haven't looked it up since. I saw it like the day after it happened, where like it was all like an uproar, and then I'm not sure if he was proven guilty or what. It's the same thing as like it happened.
How do you prove that guilty?
How do you prove it? Yeah, like, how do you prove it? Like we need to inspect back there.
I just left for. I didn't freeze. I just left for a second to insert something.
Oh,
yeah, that was a joke. You're getting buzzed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
But
the same
man, like that's crazy. That's the wildest like cheating story.
Well, I started to say before I froze. Did they have video of him sitting there? Is he just sitting there calmly going?
Like that, I don't know.
Because chess players don't move; they just because it's like poker.
Yeah,
they
just
sit there and go.
and they're dead serious. But that's what makes me wonder if how did they detect this? How did they have suspicions of this? Was he over there grinning like a possum?
At least with what's his name, you can kind of see. Okay, his ears look weird. Go
it's
check.
Joe Musgrove. It's not. What's his name?
Are you saying? Are you saying? Oh, maybe because he's leaning a little too far to the left, you gotta go check what's inside his butt. Like, how do you accuse someone of cheating with up the butt?
So now you're going to have some kind of device that can break.
That's crazy.
The transmitting thing. I guess I don't.
Yeah.
Or you have to say, okay, assume the position before you start.
Oh my God! No, dude, the already like dwindling numbers of chess players in this world would fucking dwindle even more. Like, no one's gonna go for a butt exam.
Moon River. Using the whole fist there, Doc.
I think we're at that point, though. I think, because we were just talking about cheaters, in sports, is that there's so many sponsors and so much pressure on some of these guys to perform, like they'll do anything.
Randy says, or increase. Well, did you see the other cheating scandal in sports? The guys fishing?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The fishing scandal. Yeah.
Jack, did you see that?
I saw something about it, but I just kind of brushed through it.
So these dudes, I don't know a whole lot about the fishing.
I saw a video where they were like ready to fight or something.
Yeah. So these guys have won like multiple tournaments for like cash and like boats and like they're big name dudes like in the fishing world where they've gotten a lot of like rewards and awards for their tournaments. And apparently they've been stuffing like weights down the mouths of the fish they've been catching. So when they weigh them at the end of the expedition or the event, all of their fish weigh more. And somebody called them out on it, and they found that inside all of their fish had like weights and shit. Crazy.
Well, how did it take so long for people to figure it out?
Don't know.
Well, I think it's one of those things where in most tournaments they just weigh the fish and that's it. Like, oh yeah, like this weighs 3 pounds, this one weighs 4, because it's usually a mass weight, like a group of like all the fish you caught. But in this one, the guy was actually cutting like filleting the fish before he weighed them, and so you see him like he cuts it and like 2 or 3 weighted balls pop out, and it wasn't just weighted balls, like they were actually stuffing other fillet meat into the fish.
They're just like jamming it with stuff.
Yeah.
And they got away with this for a long time.
Well, they can't prove it, but they said that it's. I mean, if you've been caught, you've probably done it before, and so that there's no guarantee that they did it every tournament. But if they felt that like their money was on the line, they're going to do what they have to do to get paid.
Yeah.
And you felt sorry because they're up there on stage, basically exposed to being cheating.
And he's just
all
the
those
guy sitting there.
sponsors-
He's just like, he's like not even trying to like act surprised. He's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So it's one guy or a group of guys?
It's two guys.
It's like two
guys.
dudes.
Two guys.
They're like, oh shit, what do we? There's no way out of this.
I mean, they're probably banned from tournament fishing, and they're screwed.
Matt Treese said in related news, Warm Taffy is rising in the ranks of the world's of the best chess players.
Can you imagine? You're sitting there like all dead serious playing against Warm Taffy, and all of a sudden he's just like, like, what the hell's so funny? Like,
Jack's like, wait a minute, this is making way more sense now.
Yeah.
Well, when we used to do the 5 questions, or we used to do the trivia between Jay and Taffy. One time he was 5 and he knew them all, and I kept going, "Do you see the?" I go, "Can you see the screen?" I go, "Because this is the same guy when they said I think it was JP sent in the questions. Where is Taffy made from? Where is Taffy? And it's Atlantic City. He said Salt Lake City. So okay, I'm not saying it.
Yeah, okay.
But I figured out that he went on the emails ahead of time and memorized the answers. So he cheated. I go, because I wait a minute. Somebody was on this before. Because you know how sometimes it shows that it's been read.
Yeah.
Right.
I go, Jay doesn't know the password. You do. Cheater. So nice. Anyway. I it's just I get everyone wants to get that slight edge, but when you're stuffing stuff down a fish and you're shoving things up your ass to get an edge, there's a line. There's a line that I draw in the sand. A line, and
stuff up.
I said for the longest time, I go, okay, if we're gonna check pitchers, why don't we start checking the Dodger pitchers? They have all these guys that always go over there, and they're like they have 2 guys this year. They have this guy Anderson, who was a below average 500 pitcher. He was like 16 games under 500. His ERA was +5. His whole career, like 8 years in his career, suddenly he's Cy Young because he went to the Dodgers. What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they just that good at correcting people's problems? The mechanics, or are they doing something illegal? Just throwing it out there.
Like, what could they be doing? You think they're doctoring baseball?
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing anything. But I'm saying,
doctoring of baseball is not going to change someone from a 5 ERA to a Cy Young Award winner. I
don't. It's just weird how it always seems to work that way, where they get
good
these
coaching.
It could be. I mean, it might be. But you look at these guys. That Anderson, when they started, why do they want him?
Well, he likes his pitching balls a little bit deflated.
We had Buck Showalter in the game. They showed him right in the first couple innings. The first inning, he's grabbing they're throwing the balls over there, and he's rubbing them. He's, against the Padres, he's doing this and this. And I said, well, if he was so concerned about it, why did he wait until the 6th inning to do it? Why would you do it in the 2nd or 3rd inning instead of the 6th inning? If he was doing it, they said he was doing it the whole time. Why would you wait? I go, he did it because he was trying to get in his fucking head, and it didn't work. Because even Blake Snell, who lost the game on the second game, he just couldn't throw strikes. But every time he did, the Mets just couldn't hit. Sorry, Mets fans, but it is what it is. Yeah. Sometimes it happens that way. But anyway, it was one of those things where we just we're from San Diego. We get in the playoffs like once every 10 years. We're just not allowed to enjoy it. We're not allowed to have fun with it. Something's always got to happen where you go, oh yeah, we're the only ones out there cheating.
Right.
That's okay. Anyway,
I know. Like my brother-in-law's brother-in-law put me in a SEC football Facebook group, and it's just every day just a shit show of people talking shit. And Tennessee has,
I can't imagine that being that way.
Yeah. But Tennessee has basically sucked for 20 years, and or 18 years, and we're 5-0 right now, ranked number 6 in the country in college football.
You guys doing well.
And we're playing Alabama Saturday, and then 2 weeks we'll play. 3 weeks we'll play Georgia. Basically number 1, 2, or
that's
3
a gauntlet. That's for sure.
Yeah, like Tennessee always has the hardest road to the national championship of just about any team because we have to play Alabama every year, and even if we beat them in the season, we still have to play them again in the SEC championship. So we have to play Bama twice. And if we still get into playoffs, now we'd have to play them 3 times, most likely. So it's damn near impossible to beat Bama once, let alone 2 or 3 times. But
best professional players in college football.
Yeah, but we'll. It's just funny, like fans can't let anybody feel good for 1 second. It's just like, oh, your Tennessee's overranked. Like, dude, Bama sucks this year. Like, you guys have struggled forever, like in every game. And it's like, It's just people talk shit.
Yeah, like we have that on Twitter because Dodger fans will come if you start a thread. You start talking Padre. There's always those Dodger fans that come in there and go, "You're not our rival. You're not." I go, "We don't want to be your rival. You can be the Giants' rival. I don't give a fuck." I go, "I just want to win a championship. I don't give a fuck about." I mean, I hate the Dodgers. I hate them. I've always hated them. But they come in there and they just start to, and they what? Okay, if we're not your rival, why do you care? They go. Well, we're trying to teach you. I go, well, you don't need to teach me anything. I go, if it was the other way around and we were winning every year and you weren't, I go, I wouldn't take the time to spit on you. I go, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't talk to you. And they're like, anyway. But it's just sports. People take it pretty seriously.
Oh yeah, I mostly watch college football is the main thing I watch. It always pisses us off like every year with Notre Dame and sorry for everyone out there's a Notre Dame fan or a Michigan fan or whatever, but like every year they're always ranked in the top 10 at the very beginning of the season. And it's just because of their name, and like Notre Dame this year was ranked 4 starting out from the gate, and like even with one, they lost their first game and they were still ranked, and then it's like, oh, well, second game, okay, finally we'll drop them out of the top 25. But yet there's still people out there who will vote for them every week to be ranked.
Looks like Notre Dame's the same way.
I just said Notre Dame. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I think you say I think you said Michigan.
I said Notre Dame and Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, Notre Dame
is the one I was saying. It's just like, well, Notre Dame hasn't won a national championship since '80. And like whenever they do go playoffs, they get their ass handed to them. So it's like, well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like. I mean, I'm from San Diego, and it's like San Diego State. They built this brand new stadium. They opened it up, and they're just absolutely because San Diego was built on, football was San Diego State was Don Coryell built San Diego State into a powerhouse back in the '60s. Sid Gilman, the Chargers it was passing. It was exciting football. You had Eric Coryell in the '70s and '80s. The Chargers have always been that wide open. Never won anything, but it was fun football. San Diego State is so. I mean, you watch the game. I can't because it's so boring. They had a guy who played safety. He was a quarterback. Well, they needed a quarterback, so he played. And he had 328 yards passing this week. He's so far. So the safety is now the best quarterback on the team.
Damn. But you never know. Like if UCLA and USC both go to the Big Ten, San Diego could go into the Pac-12 and get better recruits.
Well, that's been the thing, because those two teams would never let San Diego State in because there's such a the talent in San Diego is like huge, but they go to there's like huge. There's like a big ball in their ass, and they go to this. They always go.
my rook takes your queen.
Maybe they should start doing that. And because you see football players when they're on the road and stuff like that.
Why do you think Manning
runs so weird? They're trying to get the plays. They're trying to get the plays in. They're like this. They can't hear. Just stick a ball up their ass.
Right.
Go deep. Nancy Reagan. Anyway.
Oh.
I'm just saying. Because how they always say Omaha, or whatever.
Right.
Nancy Reagan.
6'9", Nancy. Get her on 3.
Anyway.
Randy says Brady had Benoit balls. I'll tell you, he had balls of steel pleading his case for that fucking roughing the passer call this weekend. That was ridiculous. He got sacked, and it was the cleanest sack ever.
And he threw his typical hissy fit.
Fucking temper tantrum.
He starts kicking his legs up, trying to,
And he got the call. And as a former Tom Brady diehard fan, that's bullshit.
Well, we've been telling you Patriots fans, this has been going on since you played for the Patriots. He gets these calls, and you got to go,
that was an exception, though. Like that call was awful. Like it was blatantly bad.
Okay.
I
still remember that game against Kansas City where it was it Ford swiped down at him and hit his shoulder and kept the drive alive. Saved an interception against Kansas City and kept Kansas City from going to the Super Bowl that year. They called roughing the passer. You're like going, only Brady gets that call. Only Brady gets that call. You're like going, it's just. But like I said, they got to do something because yesterday the Chiefs and the Raiders. What's his name? Chris. What's his name? Chris, not Ford. Chris. Well, anyway,
Jones.
Chris Jones. Big guys, like 340, 350 pounds. I wouldn't want him falling on me. But he tackles Carr, strips him of the ball, and falls on him. Mm-hmm. Literally, it's just gravity. They called roughing the passer.
That's bullshit.
The pastor?
Passer.
You.
Passer. His pass hole.
Roughing the passer.
They enjoyed
strike
it.
Back.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris.
But it's just, I know they're trying to protect the quarterbacks because, especially what happened with Tua. But if you keep calling things like this, people have money on the games, and the NFL pushes. I mean, they don't try and hide it anymore. They want the gamblers, so that keeps people watching the game. But you also have, if I'm paying $200, $300 to watch my team play, and I get hosed on a call like that, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm not going to these games anymore. I'm not going to watch it on TV because there's legitimate things and there's illegitimate things. So
it's mad.
Yeah. Matt can't make it tonight.
Oh.
But anyway, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
with Tua, like I'm sure you guys saw that the guy who wrote that movie that Will Smith did, Concussion, basically said you should never play again.
Yeah. They've said, a lot of people said he needs to take the rest of the season off.
He needs to fucking end his career. Like he should literally never set foot in a football field again.
I don't see that. I mean, he's too young. He's going to want to keep playing.
Yeah, but when he's 44, he's a goddamn vegetable.
I get it, and it's something he's going to have to think about. I mean, people always ask, why did Andrew Luck retire at the age he did? Why did Barry Sanders retire at the age he did? Because you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm still able to walk and talk. I'm going to call it a career.
I mean, I had a friend in high school who's a year younger than me that I think he had 4 concussions before he graduated high school, and he had scholarships to a few like Division I schools to play, and he turned them all down because he said, like, you know what, I don't need the scholarship. I love the game. He goes, but I'm at that point now where I'm afraid that if I get hit once again, just too hard in the head, that's it.
Yeah, you see it all the time though. You see, I mentioned big names, but you see all time players saying, "Okay, yeah, I'm done. I've been playing since I was 5 years old." I mean, I know we have a Pee Wee football team league over here by our house, only because my daughter was a cheerleader and we used to get through the games and watch it. And the other day they had a fire truck and an ambulance over there just racing by us, and it stopped, and they all ran. Something must have happened to one of the Pop Warner teams. I said, these kids should not be tackling at this age. It should be flag football. People always go, you're soft. That's not the game. Because I even said it in hockey. I said they're going to have to eliminate the checking in hockey. Yeah, you're just going to and I said even in the pros, that'll never happen. I go because the helmets for the pros. I mean, I've wore the helmets.
Oh, they're nothing. Yeah,
it's a piece of plastic and some foam in there, and that's about it. I'm wearing the same helmet that the pros are wearing, especially when I was repping and stuff.
I get that argument for sure. But then I love hockey because it's still rough. It can still be rough. it can still be rough, but like but you look at like even NBA games in the 80s and all the way to the mid 90s, like you looked at a guy wrong, he's going to fight you on the court,
right.
And now
And those
everything
those are big guys.
Yeah.
Everything
but
is
even not, yeah. Go ahead.
But even in hockey, you're going to have contact. I see the worst I ever got hit on the ice. It was an adult league, and this guy, we came like this, and we hit heads together. And he knocked me back, and I'm like going, and it's kind of fuzzy after that. But I was puck went in our zone. I'm talking to our goalie, and all I remember him saying is, "You need to get off the fucking ice. You need." Because he goes, I go, huh? He goes, "Get off the fucking ice," and he told the ref to get me off the ice. And I'm like this, and someone got me some cold water. I pulled the cord. I was, oh! So I had a concussion, but didn't, I still played. But he after the game, he goes, this is what you were saying. Oh.
Right.
Because I was just out of it, but it wasn't a check. It just we collided, and the way he hit me from the side just kind of knocked me silly. And you see it. I mean, I was reffing. I'd be like going, "Oh my god!" It's like. And then if you call a timeout, and the other team's like going, "We could have scored." I go, "Well, he's dying." I had to use my judgment and say, "Hey, I'm going to blow the whistle."
I'd be curious though. I mean, what do you know what the numbers are? I guess we could probably look it up. But like, what's is a high percentage of concussion injuries in hockey comparatively speaking to football?
There are now. I mean, when I was still playing and still towards the end of when I was reffing. I had to take a 2-hour test every year for my ref thing. I had to take a concussion thing. I also had to take a pedophile thing, how to discover a pedophile. And I said, well, I'm not one. Do I still have to take the test? But I learned so much about concussions.
Were there balls involved?
Well, the pedophile one was stupid. I go, I have no contact with the players or coaches. I mean, I'm literally not. But anyway, it is what it is. But the concussion thing, I learned so much from concussions that, the kid can just fall on the ice, not hit his head. He can go feet first into the boards, still end up with a concussion. And then you had the kids, you had to watch, the coaches had to watch. It was almost like the NFL doing now where they're watching the players. I go, I would have to skate over and hey, I don't think he should come back in. I think there's something wrong with his head. I think his eyes were rolling back in his head. And, some coaches would say, okay. Other coaches would say, he's fine. And I go, well, but there was, when I first started ref, no one said anything. It was just like, get back up, rub some dirt on it. But as time has gone on, what we know about injuries like this, I mean, I wouldn't let my kids play hockey now. I know my daughter wanted to play hockey, and I said, no. She goes, why? I go, because I would probably I'd probably be the first one on the ice beating the crap out of the kid that hit you from behind or something like that. It's just because you have those coaches out there that still have that stupid mentality that you have to beat the shit out of the kids, to intimidate them.
Right.
It's just, again, I think that eventually you're going to have to, and people are going to say, oh, you're pussifying the sport or whatever they're going to say. And I go, just wait for it, guys. I go, if the NFL is cracking down on it, the NHL doesn't have the power that the NFL has. Eventually, you can, like European hockey. European hockey is more open, less hitting. It's more of an art. And again, I love a great hit. Yeah, bigger rings. I mean, I love what who doesn't like to see someone get slammed into the boards and crushed like that Char did to that one.
Well, it's one of the best parts of hockey.
Yeah, it is. But then you go, okay, I want the guy to get back up. I want him to be, I don't want him to have anything back. Come back and hurt him years later. Now I know I've had a lot of concussions in my life because it's just the way it was playing sports.
I mean, when I played football, I could not play football today the way I played it in the 90s because, I was always taught, you put your helmet right on the numbers. I was a defensive end, and that's what you did. And so I had basically old way to call horseshoe collars, but this was basically like a board. And so my head could never snap back no matter how hard I hit somebody. And so, it protected my neck, but I always hit everybody with my helmet. And just speaking of wussifying the sport, but I used to bust my forehead open all the time and I'd have blood coming down my face. I'd still keep playing, just wipe it off, put the helmet back on, and go out and play some more.
Yeah.
And today you could not. If you get blood, you're off. You're off the field.
Right.
I know. Go
I
ahead.
played. I was gonna say I played rugby in college, and we often had a lot of,
and that's no gear.
Right. Yeah. So and we often had a lot of former football players who got to college and didn't play football in school, but they wanted to play, some type of sport, contact sport or whatever. And they say, "Yeah, I'll give rugby a shot." And it was one of those things where, like, my second year in, I remember like seeing all these new guys coming in playing rugby, and they're all leading with their head. And we're like, "Dude, you can't do that. Like, you don't have the gear you had playing football. Like, you can't lead a tackle with your head. You're gonna fucking break your neck, and then we're gonna get shut down." But the thing was, like, a couple of these guys, they couldn't break bad habits. They couldn't.
You saw when they first when the NFL first started. You can't lead with your head. How long did it take? The older players couldn't do it because they've been taught since they were 5.
I had to kick 3 dudes off of the team because they were a liability, and I couldn't let them play because they just couldn't lay a hit without, like, leading with their dome. And it's like if one of those guys breaks their neck on playing on the field, like, number one, it's awful for him, right. But at the same time, our program gets shut down. Like, it's a club sport. It's not like a NCAA or AA regulated sport. We're not like backed by anybody. We have to, like, do our own stuff. We would have lost the entire league.
Sorry, I was reading John's
comment. What about when they slap a player's ass? Well, it depends if he has a ball in there.
Yeah. might enjoy it.
I know when I first started playing Little League, the catcher and I caught too. We only had you turn the hat like this, and you put the mask on.
Yeah, mask on.
And I got hit during practice. The kid swung the bat and hit me right across the head.
Ooh,
with the bat, and I'm like laying there going, and my ears are ringing, and my dad comes over and goes, "Are you all right?" Yeah. And so I took like a minute off, got some water, and put the mask back on. Went home like I feel a little dizzy. I'll go lay down, which is the worst thing you could do. But again, we didn't know, so yeah.
Right.
I expect big changes in Little League. Pop Warner, you already say it, Little League, where they you see. Like the Major League now, they have that flap that goes across your chin.
Right.
Softball, they wear face masks, to not get, hit, and helmets not to get hit.
Right.
But eventually, you're going to see something's going to happen in the NFL. There's going to come a breaking point where they're going to say, okay, let's just put flags on the quarterbacks because how else can you protect them? And then Brady would complain that, "Oh, he ripped my tag too hard, my flag off too hard."
That was so bad. It was so bad.
I know he's going through some times and stuff like that, but the Padres are already losing to the Dodgers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I always hated when I was playing Little League and minor league and all that. I hated walking. I think I still hate walking to this point, like as in getting walked, as a batter. And even if I was hit by the ball, if the ump didn't see it, I would never say it. Like, I hated it. I hated taking a free base. Like, I wanted to hit the ball. I didn't, I was just like, I get hit. Like, I'm still standing here. Like, I want to hit the ball.
I didn't. I was not going to. I wouldn't swing at a bad pitch because I remember I was playing adult league and I'm standing there and this guy's throwing the ball all over and one of the guys, "The fuck you doing? You just come here to walk it." No, I came here to win. But if he's not going to throw a strike, I'm not swinging.
Right.
I'm not swinging. I'm not going to swing at a pitch 15 feet outside because I didn't care about taking a walk. I like taking a walk because I would tell I'd say, okay, I'm going to be at third here in a couple minutes.
I think that guy successfully fucking now lives rent free in your head. He got to you. You're literally talking about him fucking 20 years later.
It was a teammate. I got along with him, but I said, don't fucking yelling at me up from out there, fucker. His name was Jim. I can't remember his last name.
Fucking Jim.
Just because you were as slow as molasses, and it didn't matter if you got on first base, you weren't going to get to second base if someone hit it off the fence or over the fence. I was pretty good trash talking. But at this time, we're going to take a commercial break. I did see a movie over the weekend.
What'd you see?
Saw Amsterdam.
See, I was gonna go see that, but then it got such horrible reviews. I said, nah.
Well, luckily, because Cindy and I will usually look at like what's Rotten Tomatoes say, what are the reviews. She goes, you know what? She goes, what's it about? I go, I don't know. It's just like an all-star cast. It's like a whodunit, I think.
It's a whodunit, yeah.
She goes, don't look. Let's just go to the movies. And then Jay, his family's out of town, so he came with us. And I'm glad I didn't go to the reviews because I wouldn't have went and saw it. But right. I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, it's not a movie for everybody because the comedy is subtle. You have to pay attention. The acting is fantastic. I mean, again, it has
everybody
who's who in Hollywood. Even had Taylor Swift in it. And I said afterwards, this is the first time in my life I look better than Timothy Olyphant. First time, because Cindy goes, yeah, he was in it. Who was he? I go, the guy was all fucked up with the eye and all that other stuff. I go, that was him. I go, yeah, believe it or not, that was him. I look better than him, and that's saying a lot. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was. So
what you're saying is that Timothy Olyphant had to make himself significantly uglier.
I think that. Well, let's be fair. I think that's fair for, let's say, 99% of us. He would have to make himself ugly in order for us to be better looking than him. Am I right? He's a good looking.
He's
guy.
A good looking man.
All right, so he's got a great personality. I'm in love with him. Anyway, so no, I enjoyed it. I again, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying because Jay laughed the whole time. He goes, yeah, it was okay. I go, you laughed the whole time.
If Jay just thought it was just okay, then that's like a D.
Yeah, Cindy liked it. I didn't think she was gonna because I was watching. I was laughing. I thought it does have a couple spots where it kind of
just saying. Jay likes everything. Yeah, I've never heard
everything.
I've never heard Jay give a bad review.
He said he liked it, but he didn't say it was great. I said, well, I didn't say it was great. I said, it's not one of those movies I go, I need to go watch it again.
Right.
Or, if it came on TV, would I watch it again? I don't know. But sitting there in the theater, and it was kind of empty. The theater, that's when Jay goes, well, this movie's going to be bad because it wasn't sold out. Right. But, I had my popcorn. I'm sitting in my seat enjoying myself. I thought it was good.
Matthew Tree said, from what I've heard, you may have been the only people to see Amsterdam.
And that must be true because it wasn't, the theater wasn't packed, but I'm glad I saw it. I didn't feel like my money. I mean, there wasn't one of those movies where I go, why the fuck did I pay to see this thing?
It is crazy though. Like I cannot think. I mean, we were almost done with the year 2022, and there's only been 3 films that have come out that have been worth watching. You had, Doctor Strange, which I wasn't too big of a fan of. Top Gun, which was great. There's only a couple that you're like, oh yeah, that was good. Like what movie
Top
did you watch?
Gun's the only one that really comes to mind.
Right, there wasn't that many.
Well, Elvis, I liked Elvis.
Elvis, yeah. I waited that came out.
Matt said it's projected to lose $100 million.
Wow,
to lose $100 million.
Imagine
yeah.
That. Wow.
Well, the reason it must have cost so much is to pay the actors,
right?
Because there wasn't. I'm trying to remember special effects and CGI, and it had to be because of the actors. It only made $6.4 million.
Wow!
Like I said, I know it's bombing, but I thought it was. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Matt. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Great film. Yeah.
You had what? Yes. You had who's the actors? You had Margot Robbie. You had it had a lot of people.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is excellent. He's always Rock. Excellent. Chris Rock is in it. De Niro. Like I said, every act you're like going. It's just every scene had a famous actor in it.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I rented a movie because Jack and I tend to like westerns and World War II films and all this, and I think it was on Apple or something. And it was like, oh, since you watched this, you should watch this, and it was called The Captain. And I was like, I'll give it a shot, And I just sometimes like they just give you like a few sentences of the description, and then you have to like hit details and to read the whole thing. So all I read in the description is soldier deserts German army in World War II, and I'm like, oh. A good escape story, right? Like, all right, cool. Right. So I watched it. It was nothing like that. Apparently it was based on a true story, and it starts out that way. You kind of like you kind of are rooting for this guy because he deserts the German army towards the end of the war. And what happens is he's starving, he's running, and he finds a deserted car with a German captain's uniform in it. So in your natural way of thinking, you go, oh, he's going to use the officer's, rank to get
I'm the captain now.
To get out, yeah. But it takes a 180 turn. Instead of like leaving, he decides to abuse this power, and like he starts recruiting all the other deserters, and he goes on this killing spree within the German army, and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And it's kind of messed up.
So he went and was attacking the Germans.
Well, he's not really attacking them. What he does is like he kind of keeps digging himself a hole, because like the first guy spots him, he's like, oh, you request to join your, and then he gets some other guys, and then he gets kind of caught by these other officers. But instead of fessing up or trying to get out of the situation, he just keeps digging himself in, and these other officers are like, oh, we're running a deserter camp, within Germany. So like this is based on a true story? Based on true stories. But what he does is he massacres them all. He kills all of them. And because like they're all just going insane. And
this is definitely a turn from what you thought this movie was.
Yeah, it was I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't even know it was a true story to the end of the movie.
You're eating your popcorn going,
I'm like, what is going on here? Because like, yeah, it's got some fucked up stuff in it. And
is it dubbed or is it English?
It's all in German, yeah. And so you read the subtitle, yeah. And Das Boot you can watch subtitle or dubbed, yeah. But yeah, at the end it tells you that, because like he actually does get brought before like a German court, and basically the judge is like, well, the war's over. What the fuck does it matter? And so they kind of let him go, but then he gets caught like a year later and is hung for his crimes.
Wow.
But it's like, damn, it's like this movie's it was not anything what I was expecting.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't
a feel good movie, no.
I hate that when you think you go, where's the one I thought it was going to be? Again, I went into Amsterdam not knowing. I didn't have any expectations. It's like, and there were times I laughed pretty much throughout the movie. I thought it was fun again, but I can see where people, because it's not like not like an Eddie Murphy movie where you're supposed to laugh. It's just there's parts where you go, okay, I get it. There's a lot of social. It's the rich versus the poor, how the rich control everything, how rich start wars and all that. It was based on a true story too. So it was like, again, I liked it. But I can understand people not clamoring to go see it, because it's not. It's just a steady flow. It's not like where it just starts building up to a certain climax, and I don't know. But how you're talking about seeing westerns and war movies. The other night, I think it was Saturday night, it was like, I'm in the mood to watch a western. So I'm flipping around now that I have all Hulu and all those things. I go, I haven't seen Young Guns in a while. It's on Hulu. I go, with Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen. I mean, it's got everybody's. I'm drawing blank on all their names, but I go, I can't remember the last time I watched this movie. So I go, I'm going to watch it. So I'm watching about 20 minutes in. I go, I don't remember any of this movie. So I keep watching. Like 30 minutes in, I go, I don't think I've ever seen this movie. And I'm an hour into it now.
You've never seen Young Guns?
I thought I did, but I go. It's one of those movies where I must have thought I saw and just go, I don't want to watch it again. I don't want to watch it again.
That's good. Yeah.
And I'm like an hour into it. I go, okay, I have definitely never seen this movie before.
Jack, have you considered starting taking brain supplements for memory?
Ginkgo biloba.
I know it's coming because I'm forgetting names and stuff like that. But it's just
I just started.
It has Locke in it.
Yeah, it has Terry O'Quinn's in it. And it has Brian Keefe in it, who committed suicide. And I'm like going, wait,
it's crazy.
How old is this movie? I thought he committed suicide in the 80s. It was
it's like 25 years old, 30 years old.
I think it's like 89 or 88 is the first one, and then the second one's 90. Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. It's kind of a little over the top, it has that 80s type Western to it. But I was like going, felt so stupid. I go, oh wait, I haven't seen this movie. There's no way I've seen it because I've done that with movies before where I go, oh, I don't remember. I go, okay, I remember this scene now. I do remember seeing it, but I had never seen it. So I got to finish this one and then watch the second one that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times that popped up in my thing going, nah, I don't feel like watching that again.
There's a movie or a TV show. Shit. And I love the payoff at the end of it. Like, it's like basically the villains have gotten away with like what happened. And it's someone, I'm sure Matt will know what I'm talking about. But at the very end,
he already knows what you're talking about.
At the very end of this movie, like the two villains that are still left alive are watching Young Guns in the house.
Oh, really?
And you know, the people show up to kill them, and they realize that they're outside the house. And so the husband takes the wife and puts her in a trunk and throws her out the window, thinking this is going to work. And as soon as she, you know, of course, she's tumbling down. She's, you know, as soon as it opens up, she's like, "What the fuck?" And then they just shoot the shit out of her. You know, I was like, "Damn." But
that's harsh.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched because you know it was right there when I was a kid. I watched Young Guns 2 first before I watched Young Guns, and I actually prefer to watch it that way. I think
that explains why you watch Better Call Saul. I'm still waiting to watch Breaking Bad.
Well, Young Guns 2 is not as good as Young Guns, but if you watch Young Guns 2 first, the sequel is Young Guns, and it's better. I mean, I don't know. That's the way my logic thinks of it.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I've seen either one of them.
But it's like it wouldn't rank up there in my top westerns of all time. But it's enjoyable. But like I said, the worst part was not remembering. I do not remember this movie at all. Yeah, because I recognize, you know, you see all the actors, you know, they've been around forever. You know, Kiefer Sutherland and all these other actors been around forever. And you go, I must have seen it before. Oh, that's a guy from Superman too. He was trying to kill Superman. He was one of the strong guys or whatever. I can't
remember.
General Zod, yeah. And I go,
oh yeah, he is. I forget. Yeah, it is him.
I said, oh yeah. I go, but you know, and even John Wayne's son, Patrick Wayne, is in this movie. So there you go. That was my life.
Nice. I've been watching The Rings of Power. And I'm digging it, man.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. That's the Lord of the Rings prequel. You know, competition to the Game of Thrones prequel bullshit. I haven't watched the Game of Thrones one yet, but I'm almost caught up with the Rings of Power, and I'm actually fully vested into this story, so I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
The Lord, what's it called? House of Dragons. It's good, but some of the people, like, one character, you know, the brother of the king,
Damon,
he doesn't age.
No,
but everybody else is like aging like 50 years. I go, how is he not aging at all? How is he? I go, what is going on here? And then it's just, I'm trying to keep track of all the characters. I go, oh wait, that's him now. Okay, that was him. Okay, I think the only problem I'm having is the jump. Yeah, like Chris Dorn said, too many characters to keep track of. I mean, I can't. I know you like it that way, but it's like,
well,
I don't hate it.
I have no problem with it, but I think it's because I read, you know, these stories so many years ago that I know exactly who's who, and I know what's going to happen.
And I go, yeah, wait, he's still 30, but the daughter is now 50, and he's, you know, he's still, I don't know, it's
that was pretty cool. The CGI with Patty like taking off the mask and the eye and the cheek. I was like, that's.
Wait, this just happened
on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that episode yet.
Oh, never mind. You'll.
That's okay. I won't remember.
See, shows are getting spoiled, and Matt's not even here.
Yeah,
I know.
House of the Dragon's good. Like, what's really crazy to me is we're kind of getting that Lost Heroes effect with some of the viewers. Like, oh my God, House of the Dragon is already better than Game of Thrones. Like, dude, we're only halfway through the first season. You know, it's like Game of Thrones
was awesome up until the end.
Yeah, you can only compare the last season, and that's not fair to.
And my update on La Brea, I'm still watching it. I'm hating it even more, but I'm still watching it. It's just I go, come on, how can I don't know if it's the acting, the writing, and maybe it's because it's a network show. I guess I'm the only one that
You're the only person that watches it. Yeah.
Watches it.
I still haven't seen the first season.
Just one more month till Manifest.
Yeah, it looks like I still have yet to see it, but the Quantum Leap series I read just before we jumped on. I think has already gotten its like full extension for the first season. Like
I'm gonna give that a try. I mean,
yeah.
But the Bray, I go, God, it's just, and they're trying so hard to be lost.
Yeah,
and they're the flashbacks and the main female character she's basically Kate. She is. She does. I'm going. You can't keep me from going. And she goes, and she always gets trapped or kidnapped. Like I said, the two teenage kids now they're in 1988. I could care less about them. It's like
1988 was a good year.
It was a very good year, but I don't know. But I watch it. I watch it every week. Every time.
Welcome to Wrexham. If you haven't started watching that, Jack, you should. It's a great show. We're on like episode 12.
That's on Hulu?
No, that's on yes. I think so. FX/Hulu. That's the documentary. I gotta watch that's the documentary of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Funny.
And I gotta watch what's his name? The old cops. What's that one called? FX. Trying to blank his name. Bridges. Jeff Bridges is in it. Someone here told me to watch it. Maybe it was Nick. Did Nick Freeze?
I'm not sure you're talking about.
Nick's
movie. Looking down.
Matt, what is it?
No,
Matt?
no, I'm trying to remember. What are you talking about?
It's Jeff Bridges is in it. He plays a cop or something like that, or hitman.
Oh yeah, the old man.
The old man. That's
the old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to watch that. That's good. Yeah, you'll like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I told you that's what was funny is my dad recommended that to me. He's like, "Oh, you should watch the old man. Jeff Bridges is in it." And like I was kind of like my dad's kind of hit and miss with what he recommends. And then I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I watched the pilot. And then John Lithgow was in it, and I looked at him like, "Why didn't you tell me John Lithgow was in it? All you had to say was John Lithgow, I would have watched it." Yeah, because like John Lithgow, I love him. He's great. Like everything he's in, I use him. Like, yeah, John Lithgow knocks it out of the park. I was like,
John Lithgow. I was thinking of John Lovitz.
Sorry. John Lovitz. No. John Lithgow. totally
the
different.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
John. Okay, I got it. I know who we're talking about.
There's a series, High Score, that's it. Yeah. Something I started watching last night. Chris, I think you would really dig it. It's only like a six-part Netflix thing. It came out a couple years ago. It's called High Score. And it's the evolution of video games, starting with
I saw it already.
Did you say it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I never knew why I didn't watch it before. I saw it. I was like, I should give this a shot. And it's like I've only watched the first two or three. I was like, this is really good.
There's another one. I forgot the name of it, but it's like essentially like the same documentary made by two different groups of people. But those are awesome. Kind of seeing like the whole like the progression of video games from 70s, 80s through on, and it's pretty great. Well, I actually changed one of my fantasy football team names to a reference that when I first watched that documentary, it was a reference of the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out release when that came out, and I actually had my fantasy football team name was the code that you would enter into the continue button to go right to Mike Tyson. Nice. And I had it for 2 years, and only one person in the league was like, I get it. I know what that is.
I wouldn't put the code in. I said I would start over from scratch. I said, nope, I'm going to go all the way through. And I never I never beat Tyson.
No, I beat him. He was tough.
I never beat. I would just boom, boom, pound the crap out of those because I think we said before we had the Sega channel, and I would come home from work like 3 a.m. I go and fight this thing. Like I said, oh, is the sun coming up? Fuck!
I don't know what the Sega channel thing is.
You streamed video. It was back in the 90s. You would stream It was Sega.
You
It was
mentioned
called
this
Sega.
last week.
It was Sega Channel. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and you paid for it each month, and you had your controls, and you didn't have the box. It just was a Sega Channel. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, I could be wrong, but
Sega Channel.
I think
it had helicopter. It had what's that thing?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
I never had a Sega, so. But.
That's the only Sega I ever had was. System. That's when I stopped playing games. After we got rid of Sega, I said, "Okay, this is ruining my life. I can't. I'm not getting any sleep.
Right.
3 kids, 2 jobs, and it's just like I'm sleeping an hour a day. And people go, "Are you okay?" I go, "Yeah, I'm fine." It's just because I would just start playing them. They had like a tank game. You had to go in and blow things up, and helicopter game. And what's the Road Rash? Wow. Is that a game? Road Rash?
Yeah, Road Rash.
Road Rash. Okay.
I think it's like
a motorcycle game, right?
Oh, okay.
Is there a motorcycle game? Road Rash?
Yeah.
Yeah, Road
Rash. Yeah. So, yeah, it's all coming back to me, but no. Then we got a computer. I think that's what it was, and I would come home and go on the internet.
Yeah.
I'd come home in the morning, start signing on. Half hour later, I'd come back. All right, it's ready to go. I can go on and surf the net.
I mean,
what's crazy? I did a quick Google search of this plate, whatever it was, Sega Channel. I've never heard of this before, and then I clicked on a link. It brought me to the Wayback Machine. So I'm actually on their website from 1997.
Wow,
okay.
It's crazy. It's all HTML, and it just links to all the games. You have like Batman Returns is the big one apparently. Ghouls and Ghosts. Tailspin, the video game. Strider Returns. Like some of these games are awesome. You had them streaming to your TV. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Outrun was Abrams Battle Tank was the game you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
I remember Battle Tank. That was a fun game.
Awesome. Road Rash 3, Mortal Kombat. So cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing to have. I mean, it was just.
That's true. Like Miami Mike makes a good point that you would be obsessed with the Red Dead Redemption if you played that game, Joe.
Oh my God. Yes. Do you have a video game console in your house?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I have my sister. My daughter brought me years ago an old Atari. It's like a remake of the old games.
Yeah.
Because the kids will go, "What's that?" I go, "It's a video game."
You should. Jack. You should watch people play Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, maybe I'll watch them. I ain't playing
on Twitch. It's mesmerizing, that game.
So Red Dead came out in 2008, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018. Yeah. So 10 years later. Yeah. It's a Western game. You would like it.
Yeah.
When I worked at the rink in San Diego back in the 80s, there was a game called, was it Ghosts and Goblins? Or you had to go different levels. And you
Ghouls and Ghosts?
No, I think it was Ghosts and Goblins, I think it was. You're killing, you could get up, you go to a certain thing, you get upgrade to fast knives, you were throwing the knives faster, you could have a sword, you could have this different things, you jump different levels. I must have spent $10 a night on that thing. Just going, and it wasn't a thing where you could save it. You had to get to a certain, and I always got to the last.
I'm not sure if Nick is emulating an 8-bit video game hero or trying to swat a fly right now.
I was tracking the mosquito. I'm like, you fucker. Yeah.
Shit.
Nothing will keep my focus than spotting a mosquito. I'm like, you fucker.
I think Nick is losing it there.
Yeah, like I remember the game I loved growing up was Golden Axe. And it took me years to remember what it was called.
Golden Axe. I remember that game. I remember the start menu flashed. It was a very flashy start menu.
Yeah.
Everyone jokes about Pong, but we were the first ones on the block to get Pong.
Oh.
And everybody would come over our house and we'd play Pong. You hook it up to your TV and you had the control.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're looking back now and go, okay, how did I ever lose? How did I ever miss the Pong? Sometimes it would go smaller. But it was doom.
Yeah, we had in my house, we had Atari was our introduction. the Atari 2600, and then we got in 1985 or 6, I think we got our first computer, and it was a Tandy 1000 computer. We bought at Radio Shack, and at the time it was like the bee's knees. But it never ever got used for any type of anything like remotely useful other than video games, because it's before Windows. It's just a DOS based system. But I remember playing the Sierra online games. They had like the Police Quest series, the King's Quest series, Space Quest. Those games were so much fun, and that was like one of the old school games. You had to like use the up, left, and right arrows to move around, and you had to like type in your actions. So you like open door and then walk in and walk around and stuff. Those games are so much fun. I have memories of playing those games nonstop as a kid. And then people are reviving them now. So you can see people playing on TikTok. They're playing like new versions of them and stuff. But
I'm stoked that there's supposed to be what's the Star Wars game that
Star Wars?
No. Shit. That's how I know I'm getting old, Jack.
It happens.
The one with
so many of them.
The one with the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
You know,
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, they're remaking it now for PS5 and I think for Xbox.
Not for Xbox. I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's a PlayStation exclusive.
John, the UPS guy says Radio Shack closed before I could redeem my punch card for my free battery. Can we have your zip code?
But like what Jack was saying earlier, it was kind of the same. Like to me, like, you know, I had an NES, I had a Super Nintendo, and then when we got our first computer, when really computer games really started exploding, somewhere around '93, I kind of gave up the consoles, because I played Wolfenstein and Doom and a lot. I loved pilot simulator games. And then, of course, then me and Chris have talked about X-Wing and TIE Fighter and a lot of the LucasArts computer games that were only for, Dark Forces, so many like really kick-ass games that were only for PC. So I kind of got out of the console stuff until I got to college. And then that's when, some friends had a 64. So I started playing that, and then PlayStation.
I honestly believe looking back at my dad got us the Atari thing, the Pong, because we all, not my sisters, but I would go down to the local arcade that was down the street, pinball arcade, and spend money there. And he's like going, it's a waste of money. You should, because my dad was, very much against wasting money, except when the grandkids came along, he wasted tons of money on them.
Yeah, that was a good game.
But I think that's what because he said it's just like gambling. I go, yeah, but I enjoy it. It's a release. I have fun doing it. I earned this money, maybe $3 or $4. He goes, yeah, but you should save that money.
Right.
That's how he was. But you go there, you put your quarter on the game. I'm next.
Right.
And no one ever stole. And this is how crazy it is. Today, people would steal that quarter. No one ever stole it, because there'd be a line like 5 quarters.
Yeah, that was a quarter of respect. That was
exactly.
Yeah.
But today, I guarantee people walk with, free quarters.
Yeah, exactly. Or people go like, people go, oh, you paying for my next game? Cool, thanks, man.
It's like, if I remember correctly, we used to put it would be heads. The next one would be tails. I'm heads, so people can keep track of who. I'm number 4, but no one ever stole the quarters. You could actually go play another game while you're waiting, and come back when you're because the popular game, there'd be a line for going. Yeah. No one ever stole the quarters.
So 2 comments here. The first one, F-15 Strike Eagle. Anyone? Abso-fucking-lutely. I had those in the 5 1/4-inch floppy discs on the Tandy 1000. Awesome flight simulator game. Super old and rickety. And then Miami Mike says, Duke Nukem. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass and kick some ass. And right now I'm out of bubblegum. That's actually a quote from They Live with Roddy Piper, but I think Duke Nukem copied.
I think he did, yeah. Duke Nukem, I forgot about Duke Nukem. That was a fun
bastard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
great movie.
There's a lot of games that you either had it or you didn't have it. Because I remember for PS2, there were so many other games that people got into, and I really loved Red Faction. And then there was only a handful of people that I would talk to, like, do you play Red Faction? I'm like, yeah, it's a badass game.
Great
and some people had never heard of it. I'm like, it's so fun. But,
yeah.
About the pinball games, what I liked is, you get the bonus and you get another free game. And there was this game, it was a bowling ball game. And the balls would shoot. The balls would go up to this.
They go up. Yeah.
They go to the front, and then you keep track of them, and it was $1,000 per ball points. And so when it started clicking, if you just kind of leaned on you tell someone, okay, lean on it, and you lean on the thing, it would count the 1,000, but not shoot the balls out. So that's how you just kept playing the game. A quarter would last for hours because you're leaning up against the thing, but then they went all digital. So I like the old pinball games, the ones that aren't digital.
Yeah.
Well, I told you guys that, if you remember that story a long time ago, when the one time I met Shandy's,
what's it called, Elf Bowling?
Shandy's partner or husband, Frank, Elf Bowling.
I don't know if that's what it was or not, but
there was it's called like 83 in downtown LA. It was just real famous, mostly pinball, but had some video games there. And Frank, I think my age, maybe a little bit older, but he grew up like a lot of us with pinball, like a real pinball, and he was playing it the way we grew up playing it. It's a whole body system of hitting it. And all this. And they kept coming over to me and yelling at him, going like, "Stop hitting the machine! Stop slamming your hips into the machine!" And he's like, "This is how you play pin." And I can't do the French accent, but he's like, "This is how you play.
We play pinball this way.
This is how you play it." He's like,
I challenge you to a duel.
It is me. I am Tommy.
But
a duel, Mister. You've insulted my character.
I remember telling you guys that, but the thing that made me laugh, because I was shocked that Shandy's partner said this, but it's like, a pinball machine is like a woman. You have to hit it, it responds. And I was like, oh my god.
I don't know him too. I don't know him too well.
He said that.
Yeah, but he meant like with the hips, like you have to hit it to emit it to respond. And I was like,
I don't know him. I don't know him great, but I've met him a couple of times. Yeah, I can believe he said that.
Yeah, but it made me. I was on the floor laughing, just like, yeah.
I get that. You see kids, they'll hit the flappers at the same time. I go, no. No, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Come on, you don't. That's not how you play the game. It's not how you play the game.
You gotta give it some. You gotta push that machine to the limits where you don't get called on tilt. You have to finesse it.
But see, the older games, it was hard to get a tilt. But when they went electronic,
it's like instantaneous.
If you hit it's like, what? I didn't even touch it. Come on, bullshit. Yeah. I think that was really the downfall of the games at home were getting better.
Mm-hmm.
You can play at home, but you still miss that atmosphere. Teams smoking, the arcade, and all the stuff happening there going on.
I'll never forget going to the arcade. It's called Just Fun at my local mall, and it was Just Fun, and then there was a gyro shop next to it that was run by a friend of mine from high school with family, and then next to that was Taco Bell. So we would just go to the arcade,
always Taco Bell with you,
and eat Taco Bell. And if you brought your report card into the arcade, they give you X amount of tokens for every A, B, and C, and that was
so I wouldn't have gotten any tokens.
Well, real quick, going back to those old school games I used to play too. I remember King's Quest 3 was my first experience of really getting into a real solid game. And back then, everything was copied. Nobody bought games. Everyone always would just copy from somebody else and play the game, so forth and so on. This is actually a game that required us to go out and buy it, even though we had the pirated copy, because there's a section in the game you can't get past unless you followed verbatim how to do a specific incantation or spell, but you had to do it the exact same cadence in order to it's printed in the manual. So if you didn't have the copy of the manual, you couldn't progress in the game. And that was their way to kind of get around copyright infringement until everybody realized they could just photocopy the pages and distribute them to their friends. But old school games were also the best ones.
How technology's come now. I mean, you can play with people around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unheard of when I was a kid. We don't have any friends.
But I had a few house guests last weekend or weekend before last, and they wanted to play Mario Kart on 64. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. And that's what to me was enjoyable, even as a child. Like when you only had 2 remotes, controllers, is that you sat next to your friend and played with them, on a split screen. And so playing Mario Kart on a 4-way script, it's to me that is fun. Playing with a headset by yourself on one TV, yeah, it has its benefits, but it's things like, okay, like there's a World War II game that I really thought about buying, but I'm not paying, 15 or whatever it is for the PlayStation Network so I can play online, because that's all the game is. It's like, like 50 different scenarios, 50 players versus 50 players, last man standing. I'm like, that sounds really fun, but I'm not paying for that shit.
Right. I do miss those days where you like I said, people would come over to our house, and then people started getting the different Atari and what was some of the other things they had? People have the different,
Commodore 64.
Yeah. Oh, they got the football one. That football one's better than this football one. So let's go over there and you'd play tournaments.
Tecmo Bowl
like
still by fight me. Tecmo Bowl is still the best football game that was ever made for a video game console.
It really is. I remember even in the early 2000s when all the Maddens and shit was coming out, and I was like, I'd rather just play Tecmo Bowl.
Madden's great and all, but there's Tecmo Bowl is where it's at.
You can't beat the old football thing where you had the vibrating football thing and go, and
that's chess.
No, this is actually something. It was
I had on the electronic where they just spin around.
They'd never go in the right direction. I had the Roman Gabriel one, and they put a Roman Gabriel face of Roman Gabriel at the 50-yard line. You couldn't get the sticker off, so you're going to scratch, you're going to rip up the thing. So the guys would go up there and they would stop because they couldn't go across the picture of Roman Gabriel, the sticker that was on there. I go, fucking assholes. Because to this day, I go, why do people put the stickers on the front? Why don't you put it on the bottom? Put it on the front where it's like I spend hours trying to be careful about peeling it off. It's on the back of it. I don't fucking care.
Right.
But to this day, they're still doing it. Everybody gets pissed off about it, but to this day, they're still why? Because people don't fucking care.
I halfway expected Jack to be like, "Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't have video games. We had Vietnam."
Yeah, that's true. We did. I can remember being a certain.
I can bubble hockey. We fucking played it.
Yeah. I can remember at a certain age go, is this war going to end soon? Because I'm getting close.
You're right.
I mean, seriously, I'm getting close. My mom goes, I will send you to Canada. You are not going to go fight that war. No. Because it was at that time, it was, people knew it was crap. She did respect the soldiers though. She didn't like when people called them killers and baby, because she got pissed about that. Because I remember when I was like 6 or 7, learning about murder and all that sort of stuff. I go, well, aren't the soldiers, aren't they murderers? She was pissed at me for saying that. She got pissed. I mean, just like, she didn't like it if you called the cops pigs and all that different stuff. It's like, I remember that beating. I said, but I was just asking a question.
So I saw a TikTok the other day about someone who was saying it said Blippy. You know who Blippy is?
Some kind of about Blippy.
It was Blippy, definitely invited to the barbecue, and it's a clip. And he starts playing the clip, and it shows Blippy holding a police car. And he's like, "This is a police car, kids, blah, blah, blah. Look at the cool tires. And let's spell police. And P, what's a good, what's an animal that starts with P? Pig." He starts making sounds, and it's like built into like the whole skit. Like he actually goes through the
Is it Blippy?
Yeah, it's legitimately Blippy shitting on cops.
Well, he used to. My daughter told me he used to be a stand-up comic, and he was like a
dirty
comic. She goes, I go, really? Because my grandkids, obviously, they love. I go, oh, not Blippy, anyone but Blippy. Hi, kid! And like and he's making coin. I mean, it's the most obnoxious thing in the world, but he's found his niche. But God, this drives me crazy. And that video I put on TikTok, 230,000 views.
You do?
Yeah. It's the one of the giant player getting a hand job.
Oh yeah.
I just put it on there because Well, I didn't. I would have put some squeaky noise or something. Like I was
Right.
like, oh, that's funny. I'm gonna put it on there, and all of a sudden I started getting all these notifications. I go, what the hell? And I go, holy shit! I go, and there's no tits.
Jack's
There's
got
no
TikTok
tits.
clout.
There's no tits. My wife, of course, goes, how much are you gonna get paid for that? I go, I don't think anything. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
She goes, what do you mean? Why'd you do it? I go, well, you got to build your account up. I mean, it's just, I just.
Right.
Did you gain followers from it?
Yeah, I got like 200 followers from it so far. So
wow.
Oh, nice.
You gotta keep posting shit, bud. It's how it grows.
that's what I'm doing.
Content.
I'm trying.
Keep posting other people's content, Jack.
Yeah, I stole it, so I just, I put it on there. But that's what people do on TikTok. They take it hasn't been taken down yet. So
it's crazy. Yeah, you should take some of Bill Burr stuff that you love so much and repost it.
Bill, he is
same as your own.
You were that was one thing you were right about. He is so fucking funny.
Best.
I'll sit there and, when I'm going to the bathroom, I will watch him for hours.
He's the best.
I can't stop. I go, oh, I forgot what I was doing here.
Yeah.
Because he's just borderline.
He's not borderline. He goes over the line, but he earns his place on the other side of the line.
But he's right. He's right. That's about the because I know I said Antonio Brown. He posted this thing about the card being the R word Cardinals. And I said, dude, that's not cool. It's not funny or cool. Come on, take that tweet down. Of course, you get the defenders. I thought it was funny. I did. I'm like going, okay, it's not funny. I almost said to one person, I said, okay, would you be okay if I called you the N-word? But I said, okay, I'm not going down that road. But I'm like going, okay, there's a certain line where it's just like I can't believe the tweet. I reported the tweet. I said this should be taken down.
Who's in the tweet?
Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah.
He's. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be mean, but you're going to find him dead in a few years. He's just one of those
bad
people.
News.
But
yeah,
bad news.
The clip that you shared of him today, it was because like I have a lot of dark thoughts, and I usually keep them to myself. But the whole muffin smashing thing, the sidewalk for sure, but the muffin thing definitely hit home. Because I have definitely been that guy where I just see someone like really happy, and it could be something like that, like just some old woman selling muffins, and you just want to walk up and be like, would you even stop me? Would you even stop me right now? And especially when he's talking about the girlfriend going like, what are you laughing about? Because that's definitely me. Of like just having some weird fucked up thought, and it's just to myself, and I'm over here laughing hysterically, and then someone asks, and like they just look at you like, you've lost your goddamn mind.
Yeah. He goes, and the worst part is, I'm explaining it to her.
The best part, he goes, here I am going to work one day. I'm your average, normal, everyday guy. My hand goes 2 degrees to the right, and I'm on the.
Oh yeah.
No hesitation. No.
Hey, everything's good. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
He really is. He really is one of a kind, man. He's funny. It's so. I mean, I've been following and watching his specials for a long time. It's so weird to see him in the role that he was in, like in a dramatic role on Star Wars. That was awful. He actually does a really nice job in that movie with was it The King of Staten Island? With
does he? I haven't seen that yet.
He plays the stepdad, the stand-in dad who comes in along the way. Pete
Duel. That's not Pete Davidson.
Yeah. Interesting to see him in those types of roles. And he's also, if you haven't seen F is for Family, Jack, I think you'll fucking love it.
F is for is a show?
It's a cartoon, and it's Bill Burr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just cracked. I mean, and some things he goes, people always say there's no reason to hit a woman. Come on. I can think of like 17. And I'm like going, all right, where's he going with this? He's like, this is not. And then you're like going, he goes, no, you don't do it. That separates us from the psychos.
That's I'm a functioning psycho.
But then there's the other one he did about the same thing, though. It's like If I was a woman and I knew that it was socially unacceptable for me to be hit, I'd be the biggest fucking asshole in the world. I just like walk up, just say shit to people like, "What are you gonna do?" Because like I'm a woman, you're not gonna hit me. Like but they don't do it.
Or when he's talking about feminists and how the first.
Oh my god!
Oh,
He goes, "Yeah, okay, the first woman gets elected president. Yeah, you don't even know what she stands for, but yet just because you have the same equipment, you're voting for her."
Yep. He has a way of delivering like truth bombs that are is reminiscent in a more sarcastic and angry way of like George Carlin.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call. I mean,
he's a smart dude.
I like to watch old Don Rickles stuff. You go, dude could not say that nowadays. He could not say what he's saying, even though people of all, races, whatever, they loved him. Because he was, he just was. That's who he was. But there's no way he could do that kind of stand up today.
Yeah.
Because I think even Bill Burr said he's telling a joke. Go, you guys better listen before I get canceled. Oh my god,
he's definitely part of that elite group now of like comedians that are kind of like reshaping the whole comedy scene. I think he's kind of like the godfather of comedy right now.
Yeah, I'll sit there and watch the TikTok comedy videos all day long. I mean, there's people I don't even know who they are, and they're hilarious.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Did I send the one where the guy? I did the baseball one from Saturday Night Live. That was pretty funny. I don't know if you guys saw that.
The new guy.
Yeah, I got that was really good. The difference between how they're all, but TikTok. It's amazing how you get addicted to it. And you just sit there, like my wife. I go, "Are you still on TikTok?" For like hours, just sits there.
Well, yeah, I get a lot of those comedians that do the crowd work coming through like on mine. It's like a new trend for at least for FYP. For your page, for those listening at home, I get a lot of comedians that do like specifically do crowd work, where they actually really kind of engage with the people at the shows, and they build their show based upon their back and forth conversations. Mm-hmm. I think that art form is fucking amazing to do. Like you're walking in there with probably an outline of comedic content you're going to have based upon who you meet, but going in and essentially doing your own solo improv with people who are in front of you. It's so fun to watch.
Sometimes it works. Yeah. There's one guy I can't stand because I don't think he's funny. He's a skinny white guy. I don't know what his name is, but like he does that
pretty
style.
Racist.
The redhead guy.
He might be redhead, but like his whole thing is he goes out to ag on hecklers, and then he just makes fun of the hecklers. I'm like, well,
I had tickets to go see him.
Oh, is that guy? Okay.
What's his name?
Fuck. I just don't think that's funny. It's like because you're just kind of insulting people, and you're not really producing humor, But I mean, each to their own. But it's just that's not what I.
Miami Mike mentioned Jeffrey Ross. Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah. Jeff Ross. Oh, the roast master.
Ross. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's not a bad. You think him, you go, God, he must be such a. We talked about a couple weeks ago about him saying, "I wouldn't fuck you with a." What's B. Arthur's dick?
You're right.
Paul Mercurio was really great with the crowd. Anthony Jeselnik. Anthony Jeselnik gets away with some jokes he probably shouldn't get away with. I don't like watching him or listening.
I'm not sure I know who that is.
He's kind of a fucking douche. Like Bob Saget was part of that group too. They all kind of did their own thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
I like the what's his name? What's his name? I'm trying to think of his name. Saw him in concert before COVID.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Took me a second when they're on Nick. I go, Bill Cosby. I would have gone to see Bill Cosby back in the old days.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
Steve Hofstetter.
I've heard that name.
But yeah, let me look him up. Oh, before we get too long, we also have 2 emails, by the way.
Okay. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's what's his guy? Drawing a blank on his name. Italian guy. He's hilarious.
Oh, you're thinking of I know who you're talking about Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yes, yeah, he is hilarious.
He's awesome.
And the other guy, he's a Filipino, and he talks about his mom all the time.
Joe Coy.
Yeah, he is. We were going to go to see the concert. The only tickets left were like $300 a piece. I said,
"Wow,
I can't I can watch it on HBO. I can't justify it
Wow.
because that's my wife. Between the Sebastian and him, that's her favorite comedians.
Maniscalco's
You're
fun. My
You're
favorite,
right, Chris. It is Steve Hofstetter. Yeah,
Steve Hofstetter. Yeah,
the
I
guy
bought
that I don't
tickets.
like.
I bought tickets to go see him, and it was before COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay, Hickory Dickory Dock.
Little Miss Muffet sat on top it.
He was on an episode of MASH. Andrew Dice Clay.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
How did he get to Korea?
I don't know. I don't want to. There's a joke behind there, but I don't know. I remember when he was appearing on Saturday Night Live, the women wanted to boycott it, and one actually did. She said, "I'm boycotting this week. I'm not going to be on here with him."
Yeah.
What's funny about boycotts is that usually they have the reverse effect. You know, like if you boycott it, people want it more. You know, because like, oh, I can't do it now.
Yeah.
What was I watching where that happened? Where people tried to ban like a record or a movie or something. It's like,
well, it was. Well,
no, it's just called the fucking libraries for our children.
Married with Children.
Oh, that's it.
Never watched
that's
it. Married with Children, and you had the what were they called? The Moral Majority.
Dude,
I said when they came out, I said, all right, now I gotta see what it is. I go, oh, this show's hilarious. Thanks, Moral Majority, for telling me.
Yeah, that show built Fox. Like I'm convinced. Like that show was like incredible.
There was people that were against MASH because of the drinking and adultery.
Yeah, and
they did kind of tame the adultery towards the ones Frank and.
But the relentless sexist jokes on Married with Children was unbelievably bad. Like it was like one of the worst offenders ever.
But again, I had never watched it up to that point. Then you also had Tipper Gore, Al Gore's ex-wife.
Right.
She tried to put restrictions on music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she wanted a rating system, and
well, she kind of succeeded in a way.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that you couldn't do this, and I was like, come on.
That was with what's his name, Twisted Sister.
D. Snyder.
He's the one. Yeah, he's the one that he's the one that they give the most credit to. But like, it was also Frank Zappa. There's a lot of other guys that testified. Is like limiting art, like it's stupid.
To me, that's the parents' job.
Yeah.
He made news the day. D. Snyder. Apparently, there was some Republican candidate somewhere that was utilizing "We're Not Going to Take It" as their campaign song, and he tweeted out being like, "You fucking idiots! We've got the right to choose." Is literally the first 3 words of the fucking song. He's like, stop using our music. This is you've got the wrong idea.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Where like politicians, a lot of times they just use the music. It's like, did you even ask the artist if you have permission?
Or do you know what the song actually means?
Yeah, I don't. It's the same as like with Reagan with "Born in the USA." It has nothing to do with.
But to be fair, I don't think it's the politicians themselves. I think it's their handlers.
Sure.
And I don't think they care. I think that also, like we're saying, the negative, they want the artist to complain, so it makes news and keeps their candidate, relevant. I mean, in the news, it's free advertisement. There's what's the old say? There's no such thing as bad
news or
bad news.
Press.
Bad press.
Unless
bad press is good press.
You look at the guy from Florida. He's a sex offender, but yet he's still elected.
Well, dude, I'll tell you who's not doing well with the bad news is Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, yeah.
Another fucking concussion case that just going awry. Like, dude, he's fucked. Like, he's down in the polls. Like, and it's making the Republican. I mean, I guess Republican Party's got some problems that they have to overcome, but. They're looking even worse for standing behind him.
Well, the problem with a guy like Herschel Walker is I don't think he's a lot. What a lot of politicians do is not a lot. Most of them do is they're not speaking from the heart. They're speaking, okay, how do I get elected?
Right.
What do I have to do to get elected? And so, most of them are just empty suits, and it's on both sides. And you sit there and go,
yeah,
why don't you just come out and stand what you stand? Because then they get caught in this thing where, okay, I did this, I'm against abortion. Oh wait, I paid for 45 abortions or whatever it is.
Right.
It's just like, it's like Newt Gingrich. I go, I can't stand him, but he's not stupid. He's one of the smartest people. He's got a huge IQ, but he's one of the stupidest people. Well, morally, probably. He divorced his wife and kicked her to the curb. I think she had cancer and stuff like that.
First wife had cancer. Yep.
Yeah, and I go, I can't stand him. I mean, I just can't stand him because of just who he is. Right. And I told you I was going to watch this thing on, I think it was Netflix. I go, oh wait, is that Newt Gingrich's voice? I go, I can't watch it. And usually I'm pretty. Yeah. I'm not like anti this or that. I go, okay, if it's good, but there's certain politicians I just can't stand, and I go
on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, exactly on both sides, and I'm not going to get into an argument now about some of them, but it's like I just like. I go, this person has just got, I guess there's some LA councilwoman. She's the president. And she said something racist about a young boy, a 2-year-old that came out.
Do that shit. Like,
and she's a Democrat, but she's not really being.
Yeah, she was president. She was president of the LA Council.
Yeah.
And somebody recorded her bashing other political people. And then she was bashing the son of one of them, and basically in Spanish called him a little monkey. And
she said, "Oh, that guy's pro-black. This guy's pro-black." That's what she was saying, and I'm like going, "Okay, you shouldn't be in office." Yeah. But yet she's I hate to say it, she's lucky she's a Democrat because, especially in California, because she's not going to take as much heat. Right. If she was somewhere, if that was a Republican in California, they'd already be out. But she's taking a leave of absence. I go, well, you're still getting fucking paid.
Right.
You should have to do the right thing. It's like it's
LA.
Gets. Miami Mike said this guy. He'll get elected again.
That motherfucker. He is like. Is there a more fucking punchable face? Like, is there?
No,
I don't think there is.
Well,
like he just looks like such a fucking douche. And
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is. I mean, the minute Ted Cruz. I think we talked about this before. The minute Donald Trump made fun of his wife. And he kissed Donald Trump's ass. I go, dude. Yeah. I go, there's no way I can. I would have walked across. I would have done a Will Smith and gone up to Donald Trump during that debate and just smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah, Jim brings a good point. Like a lot of times, I'm elaborating what Jim's saying here, but like, sometimes they eat their own because they just want you out of office. It's like, oh yeah, like we'll leak this out because.
Oh, Chris Dorn said I think she did resign.
She resigned from the president position of the council, but she's still on the council. Yeah. Right.
Mm. And she'll probably, if she survives this, she'll probably get reelected again because once you're in power, you can literally kill somebody and still get reelected.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Because you have it's all about the money. And that's another problem with politics. I was talking to someone on Twitter the other day. I was like, it's until you get rid of the money, until you get rid of these people in there for life, you're always going to have the same problems we're talking about now. We'll be talking about 50 years from now because you know how I know? Because we've been talking about it since my lifetime.
It's like what's his name? Who's that douchebag that always at going after Fauci?
Who's that douche?
Rand Paul. So Rand Paul, like for years and years and years, he was like, "Oh, we need to institute term limits. We need 2 term limits. We need you have to like type this down." And what's he doing? He's fucking running for his like 3rd or 4th term right now.
Well, they all do that because you have for the longest time you had the Democrats were pushing for campaign finance reform, term limits, all that stuff. Well, then suddenly they became the powerhouse. Yeah. Now you don't even hear about it.
Right.
The Republicans didn't want to. Back in the day, the Republicans didn't want to give it up because
it's all bullshit.
They had the power. They were raising the most money. Now it's flipped. These again, they don't care. They that's why I don't sit there. I go whatever. I'm 60 now. It doesn't matter. I go, you young kids, it's up to you to make the change. I'm 60. I can't remember if I watched a movie or not. So it's on you.
We're fucked.
We're totally fucked.
Yeah.
My kids are fucked. Like
It's like the national debt just went $41 trillion.
40, yeah.
Was it 31 trillion or 41 trillion?
I don't know. It's either 31 or 41. Yeah, it's one of those.
Maybe it's 31 trillion. Because I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
God damn, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, in the last, 15, 14 years, it's just, you went from what we thought, around Bush to, it was 8 trillion. We're like, God, it's 8 trillion. Now we're like, fuck it. Just keep charging the credit card. It doesn't matter.
I've always said, okay, what can we get for Kansas?
Nothing.
Nebraska, Oklahoma. What can we sell those states for? Can we sell enough to pay off our debt?
Didn't Trump try that?
He might have, yeah.
I think he did. He's like, what can we do? Can we sell this out? I think he offered to sell. I don't know what it was, but yeah,
I thought it was Alaska. No, he wanted to buy Iceland, didn't he, or Greenland?
Something.
Oh yeah, he was Greenland. Yeah, he wanted to annex Greenland, I think, which was strange because Denmark owns it, so whatever.
I think
that's how you know it's all fucking insane. It's like a lot of the stuff people don't understand, what runs what. It's like oh, we're going to Mars or we're going to it's like they just want to throw out some weird shit to deflect off of whatever's going. Because it's like even with Biden, forgiving federal for marijuana possession. It's like, do you know how many federal people are in prison, federally in prison for
6,500?
Not many, exactly. Not many for small possession of marijuana. It's so minimal. It's like it doesn't matter,
Well, like I said, I was kind of like, okay, that's a start, but let's empty out the jail cells of the non-violent offenders.
Well, here's the other thing too, but it's an interesting push. It's completely fucking political, right?
Yeah.
So, granted, yes, we all love steps in the right direction for legalization of marijuana. I think there are a couple of things. It actually does pave the way for other other laws to be passed or things to be drafted up. But ultimately what it's doing is it's fucking pushing all of the governors of these states to act.
Right.
In a way that they probably wouldn't have done if he had not enacted this whatever pardon. So now, right before the midterms, the conversations are going to be popping up in all these states that have not legalized marijuana, that people are going to say, well, hey, why don't we do that too? Because it's going to free up space in our jails, bring back tons and fuckloads of money back to our states for other funding and stuff. Now these other fucking governors
for other money we can stuff in our pocket,
right? Like now, it's like they're being forced. These governors are being pushed into a corner, and the state legislatures are being pushed into a corner to try and now say, okay, maybe we have to fall in line now because we're behind the 8 ball. But it's interesting. He did it right before the midterms.
I don't think that would happen though, because there's a lot of states that have for-profit prisons, and so the money.
Well, that's another thing. That's a
problem.
That's a problem. Yeah, that's because they won't legalize or they won't decriminalize or they won't release them because it takes away money from another industry that shouldn't even be an industry.
It should be. Yeah, it should be. I mean, that should be rule number 1. That should be illegal. I mean,
right?
Yeah. Because. Okay, why are people being arrested for stupid things? Because we got to fill the prisons. We're going to fill the prisons. It's so stupid.
It's tax money that's funding it. So like, well, we've got a contract with these people, so we've got to give them their money. But if there's nothing,
in the meantime, we're releasing people that are violent offenders. We're just going back out and killing the guy that kidnapped.
Oh right, the no bail thing. Yeah.
He kidnapped the family and shot the baby was 8 months old. He worked with him, I guess, had a beef with him, and shot him, kidnapped him and shot him. But he had kidnapped someone before and it was violent. So we knew this guy he's not going to change. He is who he is. We need to get these people and just, okay, you need to be locked away and kept away for good. Now, the person that, rolled a joint and got, 10, 15 years, okay, you can come out. It just, to me, it's, but people just, for whatever reason, it's all political. It's like, well, my state won't like that. If we eliminate marijuana, I can't get reelected. Well, how about you just do the right fucking thing?
Your state won't do it because it's getting too much money from fucking Philip Morris.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the thing. Is like Jack saying.
Whoa! Don't call it my state. I
said no. What you were saying. There's so much money in. Yeah, it is Philip Morris, North Carolina. But it's like you look at my home county that I was born in. It's still a dry county. we have liquor by the drink. So if you like Applebee's, you can get a drink there.
But you have the Duke boys going around and
right.
But
like look how many states where it's like weird laws like look at New England with blue laws and things like that. It's like you keep them in place because industries have been built around them, so it hurts them if you got rid of them. It's like because I think one of the proposals for Colorado this election is should grocery stores be allowed to sell liquor, because I think now all they can sell is wine, and it's like, but most people probably vote no because there's too many liquor stores that would be hurt by putting liquor in grocery stores.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But it's like, but that's what I mean. Like you get so many lobbyists and so many things that it's like, oh well, we can't get rid of this, even though it's the right thing to do. Because if you really thought like, oh, why can't I buy liquor at a grocery store? Like, why not? But it's like, because you're hurting these other people, and you're like, oh, so you kind of
now California, you could buy alcohol at grocery stores. Because I remember when I first moved here, I went, where am I? I go, where's the alcohol? They go, we have wine. I go, no, I'm looking for. And they go, oh, we can't. You have to go to an ABC store. I go, the hell's an ABC store? Right. Oh, you can't go on Sunday. I go, okay. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but it was like a culture shock. You could smoke wherever you wanted. When I got here, there was no non-smoking restaurants and stuff like that, and you can smoke a cancer stick, but you can't buy alcohol. But it does make sense that but here the state controls everything. They control all the alcohol. It's all because it's an ABC store. There's no liquor stores. They're ABC stores that are run by the government.
Oh. Alcohol, beer, Chardonnay.
Yeah, they control. They make all the money.
We should take another commercial break.
At this time, we're going to take another commercial break. My Padres are losing 5-0. By the way, I'd like to thank Mike Clevenger for his time with the Padres. You won't be back next year.
We need to stop so I can actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The commercial break. Yeah.
Commercial break.
Okay. We got 2 emails. One is very long, so bear with me. It is from Joanne with the plan.
Why do you freeze?
Oh, Joanne!
Why do you freeze every time with the emails?
Yeah, that's because you're moving or something.
So Joanne got back to us.
Yes,
so she must be caught up with the show then. Yeah.
So caught up, callbacks, and the humanity is the title.
Okay.
I have caught up on RC80. It's long, so bear with me. I'll stop after the first paragraph. Quick callback to September 23rd episode. You are the Trump of this episode. Matt made an excellent point about artificial intelligence. It is indeed just an algorithm. I have no memory of this conversation.
No.
It is not.
I can't remember Matt being right. Go ahead.
It is code written by very intelligent programmers using very fast algorithms and computers. There was an American Life episode about AI app that would write stories based upon user input. Amazingly, the more input the user provided, the closer the AI met the storyline that they were trying to create. And when the app went into a loop, it became a sign of how intelligent it was, since it was emphasizing the same point over and over again, or as we programmers call it, a bug. I bet if Matt was here, he would probably remember.
I have no memory of that conversation at all.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we're either high or drunk, so it's like, and that was a month ago, right? September 23rd episode.
September 23rd. It wasn't that long ago.
That wasn't even a month ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Were we arguing with him?
Matt was probably. Us three are probably having a conversation, and Matt was probably having his own conversation.
Because I don't know shit about AI, so I wouldn't.
I don't recall talking about AI at all.
Unless I was fucking with him. I don't remember.
Which is very likely.
Yeah, I don't deny that.
Matt, I'm sure you'll listen to this podcast and bring it back up at some point.
See, I was right, guys. I was right.
I was right.
Okay, so the next one is a long paragraph. Anyway, for all mankind.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yes.
I have been catching.
Oh, wait. Oh. You've already read it, right?
No, I have not. This is all.
Okay.
He's not warm taffy.
No, let's let's take a vote. I say she likes it.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. That's not how
Nick.
Votes work, really, is it?
Okay, sure.
You think she's going to like it or not like it?
Yes, like I've never met someone who's watched it who hasn't liked it.
I'm sure she'll like it, but I would think, being the NASA employee, she'll probably say something.
She might be critical of it.
Like the differences or something.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, for All Mankind, I have been catching up with it over the past few months, and I am currently 3 episodes from the end of the most recent season. With a trip abroad shortly, I may not finish till the end of October, but as a soon-to-be 45 veteran at NASA, good gosh, 45 years, wow.
Holy fuck.
I do enjoy the series, and I have lots of thoughts and a few stories. Cool. Rather than try to condense it into one email, I will spread my thoughts over several. Nice.
Sick.
And each one on a different topic. One big topic is the independence of NASA, especially as it relates to the oversight and Department of Defense. The show gets a number of details correct, including the independence of NASA. NASA is referred to as an independent agency versus a cabinet-level department like the Department of Defense. While not purely true, we are supposedly not political, and for the most part, that holds true for the internal working, but less true for the budget, which I think that's shown in the show. That is mostly defined by a current Congress and president. The show makes a point of having independent funding, and that can happen. My own program is, in fact, independently funded, which provides me a lot of freedom and envy from those who are more restricted to their budget. In terms of NASA's relationship with the Department of Defense, there is a very clear
Delineation.
Thank you. Are you reading it as I'm reading it?
Nope.
Okay. I'm glad she knew the word. I'm like, delineation.
I have no idea what the password is to our email.
Okay.
Even though I probably created it.
The password is password.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You have a post-it note with it. Michael Scott. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, delicious. Even while we share some facilities, there is a Langley Air Force Base that overlaps Langley Research Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, which overlaps Kennedy Space Center. I didn't know that. That's a lot of overlap. And then there is Vandenberg Air Base, which is Department of Defense site that launches classified payloads.
I think I knew that.
The government in general is split between Department of Defense and non-Department of Defense agencies, and NASA is very clear that it is not DoD. In fact, it is that separation that caused the creation of the U.S. Space Force, which is clearly militarized focused. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Much more to come, because I remember thinking that when Trump said he's going to create Space Force, so I was like, I thought the whole purpose of NASA was not to militarize space. But
right, exactly. Because they were worried about the Russians doing it.
The Russians, and China and all,
and all the other things they did. Because once that happens,
it's like because that was kind of the rule. It's like you can have an SR-71 and
exactly.
you could, as long as you're within the planet, you can spy all you want. But like once you get space, like let's not have that be political.
Right.
But anyway, much more to come. Next email, I will give some thoughts on Russia and the U.S. in space. Joanne with the plan.
Yeah. I'd like to work for NASA. I wish I could have worked for NASA. I always find it fascinating. I always wanted to be an astronaut. But
me too. I think that's every kid.
That's awesome.
Because I grew up. I grew up when people were actually going to the moon, so it was cool.
This is my new favorite segment of our show. I'm not gonna lie. I want to fucking hear more about Joanne's life at NASA. To be honest, so keep it coming.
All right. The next email is from Randy, and it's titled RCAD Derby.
Can I say something? You should have read that one first.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, so
I'm kidding, Randy.
Yeah. The RCAD Derby is about to begin. The 4 entries are Nancy the Horse, written by Nick, with 3-1 odds. Lazy Susan, written by Chris, at 4-1 odds. Gretchen, written by Matt, at 2-1 odds.
We know Matt won't finish.
And Bob, written by Jack, at 5-1 odds.
Bob.
Should have been Hi Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi,
Bob.
Strict testing has been performed to make sure no performance-enhancing drugs have been used by both the horses and the riders. The track is 1 1/4 miles.
Okay.
Note that Warm Taffy has previously run this course in 5 minutes. Who wins?
That's a big callback. He almost died. Seriously, he almost died. Oh man!
I mean, this is these are all hypothetical.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he really wants us to answer this because, like, you know, considering that I think these are all supposed to be horses, but I'm the only one that actually says Nancy the horse, whereas the rest of them are just Lazy Susan and Gretchen, which, you know, you're not going to win on a sheep.
No.
And then Bob Newhart's not going to be able to run.
No. Well, not at his age. No.
Not at his age, yeah.
No. Bob Newhart.
And then Nancy's, you know, got a big gullet. She can breathe in a lot of air. I think.
Well, she's got to stop, though. Doesn't she have to stop and? I'm not going to say anymore.
No, I got you.
Well, is that it? Is that all we got for the show?
Sure. We're at 1 hour 50. I'm shocked we went that far.
We're supposed to do an hour.
Yeah. Considering that we really just talked about sports mostly and Young Guns and Bill Barr. Bill Barr, sorry.
Bill Barr.
I have one final thought to leave with you guys.
Okay.
So when Archie Bunker and All in the Family were airing, Edith was 44 years old.
Wow.
And Archie was 48.
That's crazy. There's just something about that period, the 70s, 80s. They made people look older too. Like,
people looked older.
They did. They looked a lot older. Yeah. Because
Archie Bunker was 48 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Huh. But Edith didn't really look as Archie looked old.
They both.
Yeah, he did.
Carol O'Connor. He looked old.
But even going back to Married with Children, someone wrote on some comment recently, he goes, I can't for the life of me, I don't understand why Al didn't want to fuck Peggy. Peggy is a smoke show. Why would he not want to fuck? But as a kid watching that, with the 80s hair, the puff, it made her look really old. It makes everyone look old. You look at even the Golden Girls, they were all in their 50s and 60s, and they looked like they were in their 80s just because of the way they looked. But they're not even really that old.
Right. Well, if you watch any Western, the black and white Westerns, or even the TV shows from the 60s, the husbands were always 90, and the wives were always really young. Now, I realized the wives in back in the West, they would die in giving birth.
Yeah, and
if they were farmers, it wasn't so much love. It was okay. We got to keep having kids so we can have people to work the farm. But it just, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Miami Mike brings up a good point. It says Young Guns, prison reform, concussions, Pong, and NASA. A true Rambo cast.
That is true. Yeah, we cover all, and people always ask. I still get people asking, "Do you guys plan ahead of time?"
Not one thing.
No.
Whatever comes to the top of our head.
I honestly don't know what anyone's going to talk about, and to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I write down. I saw about Amsterdam and Young Guns.
Yeah, that's what I write down. Yeah, what TV or movie I watch. Yeah. That's the only thing I'll write down.
Because I don't, I'm going to forget. I go, oh god damn, I want to talk about that.
Whatever happens. It's the best part of the show.
Exactly. Tell a friend. We're looking for that 110th subscriber. We're getting close. We're at 109. No, 110 people. Maybe I still got to say I got to do a TikTok channel on this and just put a clip each week of the show.
Drink, everybody drink.
I know, and we could go live with the TikTok. I could do this, and we'd get more hits. And I go, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet.
We have some very special listeners we would like to thank this week, of course. Before Jack turns himself into a big-breasted TikTok star.
I already did.
Oh.
And who are they?
Who are those special patrons that we're?
Well, if you'd like to become a patron, you go to jayandjack.com, click on the button to become a patron. We're still looking for that $1 million a month subscriber. TikTok. If you donate $1 million a month, you can be a co-host on this show once.
Yeah, and you can write our show for us if you want to.
Okay.
Tell us what to say.
Yeah, you'd be the producer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But if you donate $1 million, let's be honest here. If you donate $1 million, then we're no. And you say I did.
You have the show. It's yours.
Well, no, wait. If you did it because of say, hey, I'm doing it because of the Ramblecast, we're no longer going to be part of Jay and Jack.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in. We're gonna go independent.
We're gonna separate ways. We're gonna go independent.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be selfish.
So what he's saying is, if you plan on doing it, give us a heads up beforehand so we can make
and then we can tell the officers over at Jay Jack, you know what? We're gonna go our separate way.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go independent. You know, you guys keep on with your shows, and we'll go over here, and then we got $1 million a month.
And look at that.
Because
it's amazing.
Yeah, because splitting it 4 ways,
$250,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then after taxes, probably about.
If your name is Jeff Bezos and you're looking for, if you're looking for something to, advertise Amazon,
we're small business.
You're hurting right now. We could help you out there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. But this time we're going to thank Tack from Paris, Eckhart Rickner, Glaffelder, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the NASA plan.
Yeah, fuck yeah, Joanne. Keep coming with those emails, please.
Yes. And Ed, can we go on a tour of NASA?
I would love to.
We could all go down there and do a live show from NASA, right?
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I would do it. I'm not begging or anything, but
I would.
It'd be nice before I die. And Ed, the creepy poopy letter carrier, thanks for doing what you do. And that's all we got. That's, I guess, what Zach calls it. That's all we got. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Are we back next week?
Should be.
Yeah.
I'm gone the following week.
We'll figure it out. We'll see.
Okay.
Soon. I know I'm going at some point.
And I'll keep up the great artwork.
Yeah, it's been freaking me out.
It looks like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You got to get that tongue checked out. It's not natural.
Well, people go, why are you doing this? I go, I'm trying to get to Matt's artistic side where he goes, okay, enough. I'm taking back over. I'm going to say that because he's not here, but that is the master plan.
Good night,
Bye, everybody. God bless.
See ya.